Hey everybody, how's it going? Greed 2 is what we're talking tonight. Really excited about that. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening. What's going on, Steph? Hope everybody's doing really well. We're going to talk about this little green dude for a little bit, and we're about to go live with the campaign for issue 2. So give us just a few minutes. We'll get into that. I'm really excited, guys. I'm really excited to bring you into our world for a second issue. I mean, a second issue of something that's, oh my gosh, was just a have fun, good time story that's turned into this really deep, real ongoing series that we've created. I'm really, really excited about it. The character development is there. The adventures between these two dudes are really cool. We first started, it was like a buddy cop drama, we were creating between this kid and his monster under the bed. For those of you that don't know, who may be new to the series, it's about a young dude named Oz that meets his monster under the bed. And this monster under the bed's kind of a huge dick, not a very nice guy. But he's bringing the kid into this world, and he's showing him so many things, and all of them dangerous, all of them not great for his well-being. So we're trying to get you guys involved, in this story. Because when we were kids, we were scared, of the dark. Shit was in it. Shit was terrifying. We want to bring those things back, show you guys why it's okay to be scared of the dark, what was in the dark that was actually scary. And one way we're doing that is Greed actually spun off of The Listener, and the horror stories and stuff that are in The Listener, which is great for the story itself, because that means we're tying all these amazing characters between the 7 deadly sins and the 4 horsemen and all that. We're tying all of that in with the Greed storyline. And I'm not telling you that right this second, Steph. Give me 1 second and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So as you go forward with Greed and you start seeing what's going on in the story and the development, this bond that you're getting between these two characters. What's going on, Wendy? It's always a pleasure. So these two characters are building right together, and well, let's get into a couple images from book 1 and I'll show you guys what I mean. When the characters first come together, it's not great for young Oz. You know what I mean? He's like totally brought into this war that he didn't even know existed. It's a very terrifying situation for him to deal with. I mean, to go from sleeping like you would on a normal night to getting caught up with this little green demon. And the thing with Cade is, he's basically looking out for his well-being. He's telling Oz, he's like, hey, dude, I need a place to crash. My family's trying to kill me, basically, is what he's going on and off about. And what he's actually done is he's drawn this young boy into this war between gods, monsters, demons, and what have you. And we're at 7:05 right now, guys. So before we continue, I'm going to go ahead and hit that button so we can get things going. So let's go ahead and launch, right? That's what we're here to do tonight. So we'll go ahead and hit that launch button. Project is live now. Really, really excited about that. Because once again, going forward, hey, Jake, what's going on, buddy? So it's like if you were a fan of Little Monsters when you were kids, right? With Fred Savage and whatnot, and Howie Mandel. This would be like an adult version of those. We've got some great cover artists, but I'm going to go over some panels and show you guys some really cool stuff, and we'll start with that. So I just showed you guys a couple pages from book 1. Here's a couple pages from book 2, so you guys can get an idea of where we've gone. The art is evolving every time we put out a new book, right? I mean, Cade's not changed much. I mean, he's still the same shitty little green dude. But we're moving forward, with different art styles and different cover artists. And I do have a couple sketch options for sure, Jake. I haven't added them yet because I was waiting to see who would be available, and they'll be on there tomorrow. I have a couple folks that are going to be on it. Pretty sure Steph Wilson may, he might do a sketch op for us. We'll see. I'll talk to him later. Isn't that right, Steph? So anyway, so Greed, the title, holy shit. It was really on the nose, right? Like, my wife was like, why don't you call it Greed? And I was like, oh, well, that's a good idea. Because when I came up with the listener, it was very awesome. Thank you. It was, when I came up with the listener title, it was a very big deal. Yeah, we'll get Steph to do a couple blanks, and I'll put them up on the, I'll put them up there tomorrow. Yeah, oh man, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, Jake. I mean, that piece came out awesome. I know that Adam just did or is doing a piece for you as well for the listener book 3. So yeah, so I'll put those up this evening, and you guys will be able to snag them up tomorrow. I'm sure they'll go quick. I'll have to figure out how many Steph wants to do and a couple other folks, but so anyway, it came with, the character's green, right? And we're talking about the 4 horsemen, 7 deadly sins, yada, yada. But it's basically like, it's such a word, right? It means so much, like take and to hold and to covet and just to want and to need. And I think we all have those feelings to want and to need on a very deep and almost primal level. And this character is so much more than what you guys are seeing on the surface. And I'm very excited to be able to start delving into those things, especially with this issue. We're introducing Lilith with this issue. Let me throw you guys some covers up so you guys can see what we've got going on cover-wise. We brought on some great folks and brought back some great folks. This is cover A, which is David Ocampa's cover. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm really in love with this one. I think it's a great store cover. C. Michael Lanning did an awesome cover as well. Really, 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 really cool cover. Stoked about that. And then we get into April's covers. Jake, she did the glow in the dark cover, which was really cool. Not glow in the dark, sorry, blacklight cover. Huge fan of that one. She put a lot of time into it. There's also the the natural world side of that cover instead of the other side version. So that's the first time we've done one of those type of covers, and I think we'll do more in the future because it was a lot of fun. Our buddy David Fott did an awesome one with Gwen. Came out really, really cool. A couple little demons on there with Lilith. You've got your other side cover of that too. Justin Hunt came on really, really strong with this one, guys. Well, we'll get into a movie one of these days, or a Netflix show, I hope. I'm glad you enjoy them, man. I'm having an awesome time putting them together, I promise. And then we go into Steph Wilson's cover for this book. He's also got an NSFW cover for this one. So just for an example for you guys to see, this was April's cover from the last issue of Greed. And this is the cover that she's done now. Both of those are available in a combo on the Kickstarter. So really, really, really stoked about that. And then, this was Manny's cover for book 1, also available on the Kickstarter as well. David Fott is awesome. David Fott is a really, really cool guy, and we're glad to have him on our team and work with us. So as we go forward, you guys will get to see these crazy spiritual events, like what's going on with Cade. Why is he going at it with Lilith in book 2? What is the secret that he's keeping from Oz? All these little details that are so relevant to the story and the building of it and the world, because it's huge. And then mentioning, talking about the listener will tie in book 3. You let me beat around the bush about why it's called Greed. Sir, quit trying to mess me up. It's called Greed because I like the title. It's a strong word, and it's a great example for the book. I think that one of the characters in it is very greedy, so that's why it's called Greed. I'm not giving you story reasons. Oh, is that right? Okay, right on. Well, I'm not going to give you guys spoilers from books and books and books ahead if you didn't read between the lines about what I said a few minutes ago. So, but we're meeting Lilith. What is Lilith doing in our small town? Why does she hate Cade so much? We'll go back and forth with that in this issue. And it's a lot of story building. We've got a huge, first appearance with Lilith in this one. So if you're planning to stick with us, which we hope you do, pick up this one because it's got that big first appearance in it. Yeah, but you know my books. You know my books. Whatever. You know my books, Jake. So you don't have to read. They're put out so well. The story, the pages are laid out so well that you can get it without having to read, I promise. So anyway, going forward, you're going to get in these big events, and you'll start seeing other iconic characters. Introducing, Kukulain in book 3. Sorry, you've got this big event that we're alluding to in book 2 as well. And I'm colorblind. You know what, man? Oh no, Nita. Anyway, he's good at drawing, hot characters for covers and whatnot. He's good at that. Steph's awesome at that. So, but there's a lot to be seen. There's a lot of really beautiful artwork. The characters are put well together. The cover artists are great. I know a bunch of you guys are cover collectors. Like I said, there's a lot of really, really, really nice covers for this book. Yeah, that's a fact. But there's so much to see, and there's so much in this story. I was a huge fan of Stand By Me when I was a kid, like a huge fan of that movie. And I think it's very relevant in those of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s. Oh my God. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not gonna say you're wrong. So, but we're building these characters, and we're building the bond between these characters and what they're going through in the situations, these life or death, incursions with demons, monsters, gods, and what have you. But he's still just a 10-year-old kid, man. How's a 10-year-old kid deal with this stuff when he's got this shitty little monster trying to tell him what he should be doing? When in reality, if he had somebody that was, a little bit kinder in his corner, they may be telling him to do different. So, I mean, sneaking into the mall, 10 years old, bound to be trouble, right? Bound to be trouble. You know what? Not everybody likes Too Simple either, though. Stories should be awesome, and they should be big and bold and beautiful, and all of our books are that. All of our books are big, bold, and beautiful, I think, regardless of their content, whether it's a monster story or it's, a murder mystery or whatever we're putting out. That's probably why it's called Greed, because I like my books complex. I'm greedy for your thought processes. I like to see where your mind takes you when you read our books. Yeah, absolutely. Greed 2, just like Mall Cop. Absolutely, with a little green mall cop that goes around and kicking the shit out of stuff. I'm with you. I got you. I'm following. There's just a lot going on with these characters. Like I said, you start talking, when you talk about Lilith, you talk about the original bad chick, right? She's like the OG bad chick, but why is she here? Why is she in our little town? You know what? Whatever, dude. Whatever. So anyway, speaking of Steph Wilson, I'm thinking we're probably going to do 3 or 4 of these sketch covers, right? I think that's a good idea. What do you think, Steph? 3 or 4? 5 or 6? How many you want to do? I'll put them on there for you. So anyway, Mr. Elevator Pitch, escalator with the smallest incline. God bless y'all. Y'all are killing me here. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. But for those of you guys that are coming in just now, let me show you guys that really cool video that Meredith and Nita put together. I'm a huge fan of their work, and we appreciate all their support and working with us on our team. So check this out. They do these stellar videos. Anyway, if you guys need anything done in that kind of manner, definitely reach out to Meredith and Nita. They're awesome folks, awesome to work with. So speaking of awesome as well, Steph Wilson is awesome, guys. He's a great dude, and he's also doing amazing covers for us. He's got BGD covers. He's got Greed covers. Really solid dude. That's his cover for this book right here. Love that one. Great cover. I don't have like 50 covers by Steph or anything, but I have a couple good ones. Speaking of great covers, a lot of people have been a fan of that Justin Hunt cover, which, I can't blame him. It's a beautiful cover. I'm a huge, huge fan of that cover. Oh, well, yeah, that too. Yeah, whatever. Oh, yeah, the Gremlin. Yeah, the Flasher. He's a good dude. He's pretty sweet. It's the ramen. It's the beans, bro. It's the beans that bring them all to the yard. It's not the ramen. Jesus. So, oh my God. This is our second book in the Greed series, which is ongoing. Right now, we're coming up on October 27th. October 27th is a big deal for us because it's my 36th birthday coming up. But not only is it my 36th birthday, it marks a year of us producing comic books. And one big deal about a year of us producing comic books is, when we first put out The Listener in October last year, we didn't know how well it would do. We had no idea. So absolutely. Kickstarter for Greed 2. Let me get that link for you real quick. Really excited about that. Here, I'll put it up for you real fast. Over Chonder, right there. There's that link for Greed 2. I think it came out great. I'm really excited. The Kickstarter is beautiful. All the time everybody put into the to this project. Speaking of what we're doing. But anyway, going back to the fact that why it's so important. In a year, we've put out 3 issues of The Listener, an art book for The Listener, 2 issues of Greed, 1 issue of BGD. Man, oh fucking man. You know what I mean? 7 books. 7 books in a year. Holy shit. And their quality, right? The fans will tell you, it's not family that's telling you. The fans will let you know it's good shit. You know what I mean? Back with confidence as well, because all of our books are already done by the end of the Kickstarter. So you don't have to wait on our product. We're constantly putting out more books. And I say by the end of the Kickstarter this time, just like BGD. Thanks, Jake. Just like BGD, because of the fact that I put out a book every other month, guys. You know what I mean? I don't like you to get bored. I don't like you to have to wait on story. So I work my ass off with my teams to get you guys the books as fast as we can feasibly get them to you. I like to write in advance, so you get all these cool ass stories in a timely fashion. That's the way I like to look at it. You get a book every month. If you pick up books from us, like, what we need to do, Steph? We need to create like a mailing system for my books. You know what I mean? It needs to be like every month you get a copy of the book, like those like the horror boxes or the funny boxes that people order, or the boxes with fucking razors and shit in them. That's what we need to do. We need to put a box together that people can just order every month. They've got the book that comes out that month, you know what I mean, and stuff with it, so everybody gets some cool shit every month from us. Man, whatever. Don't mess with me. You message me just as much as I message you. Get out of here. So we might need to talk about that. Get some crazy shit going. Columbia House Comics. But yeah, so we got a lot going on. And we've talked about it a little bit, and we'll talk about it a little bit more at the end of the month. But we've got this time next year. You lie. Whatever. This time next year, we'll have we're probably going to have 7 ongoing series this time next year. We brought on some amazing new talent, including Steph Wilson. You know what I mean? But we brought on Mog Park, Envu. We've brought on Oh my gosh, William Russell came on, Devin Massey, just amazing talent for the stuff we've got going on coming up. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get you guys in on it. But right now, it's greed. It's all the little green dude, as shitty as he is, he's coming, guys, and he's going to be fun. He's bringing all kinds of shit talking. I was a big fan of Peter Parker when I was a kid because he used to talk shit, man. He'd be beating the shit out of somebody and then running off the mouth the whole time he was beating the shit out of somebody, Yeah, man, that's exactly what I'm saying, Steph. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there. But when Peter was beating the hell out of the Sinister Six or whoever he was going at it with, he'd be talking shit. And that's one thing I liked about comic books. I liked those witty characters and whatever stuff. I was a huge fan of them. And now I'm even more so a fan of that concept, that badass that knows he's a badass. You get a lot of that in BGD. Ricky's a great character for that. But there's a lot of I don't like a wimpy hero. He doesn't need to be a superhero, but he doesn't need to be a punk either, right? So, but Cade will grow. You lie. Why are you telling people I yell at you? What's going on, Shawty? Do not yell at you. I say nice things to you. Last thing I said to you was happy birthday. I hope you got all the cool shit I sent you. Get out of here. I say nice things. So, but yeah, so it's building with this character that doesn't look like he'd be a good guy, right? But you're constantly trying to show you're constantly trying to show that he is this inner turmoil for a main character, right? You've got a young kid who's trying to figure out right from wrong, but at the same time, you've got a demon that has his own agenda and he's trying to influence a child, or maybe even do good for himself, so really stoked about that. I am unbelievably stoked and excited about where the characters are going, what they've got going on, and who are they going to be? You know what I mean? 6 issues from now, yes, Jake wins. I give you that. No, it's not a children's book. It's not a children's book. I don't even let my kids read my books. I definitely wouldn't let them read this one because he talks too much shit, man. He flips off too many birds and he tears people up. He doesn't. I mean, he's not a superhero, and he's not even at best, he's an anti-hero. At best, he's an anti-hero. But it's not like it's a mature title, It's a mature book. I wouldn't let my kids read it. But I'm excited about the people who enjoy it. When issue 1 came out, people thought it was a kid's book till they opened it and they were like, holy shit, that's great. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Anti-hero. That's me. You know what I mean? I fucking trying to show people that I'm a good guy through and through. Oh yeah, well, hey, there's that. You know what I'm saying? There's that. But it comes to this point where you want to show people a different type of character, right? And with the listener, we got to show you guys a character that is not a hero as well. And that was fun. And it's still fun. Holy shit, book 3 was incredible. So, and then going on to, the other books we put out and stuff, you could look at these things like BGD. And I'm really hoping people that enjoy BGD, which is at the printer now, when that comes in, I hope people enjoy it as much. And then they turn around and go, hey, look, greed's bad as shit, man. That's a cool ass book too. Not a superhero fan. Not a superhero fan. Not anymore. Not as I've gotten older. I've gotten to the point where, how's it going? Hello, Facebook user. I've gotten to the point where as I've grown, as I've aged and been reading comics for almost 30 years, it got to the point where it was like, man, I needed to read something with more substance, and not that our mainstream heroes don't have it, but I feel like they keep rehashing the same story over and over and over again, and it's got to be different, man. It's got to be original. I don't like that stuff. So I enjoy giving you guys content that you don't see on a daily basis. It's not rehashed or recycled from somebody else. I think that all my books stand alone. I mean, they stand up on their own. They don't need to be classed as something or another. Yeah, man, for sure. Right on. Yeah, that's what it is. I just get old and I'm bored and tired and fucking lazy, or at least that's what Tom says. So whatever. Um, but there's something to be said about originality, and I think that we have it in spades. I think that the more people get their hands on Greed, they enjoy it. It's literally the coolest fucking monster story that I could possibly think of, because of the simple fact that it's a monster story tailored around theology, which is really interesting to me because it's like all those have the scariest stories in them. The scariest stories are all in theology, in religious texts and stuff. And so changing it to suit the stories to go along with like the listener and whatnot has been such a pleasure. And to keep these characters as true to the writings as I could possibly keep them is awesome. And it's been a pleasure to me to be able to bring these characters to life and for you guys to get to see them. Speaking of that, holy shit, Lilith, right? Jesus, she came out so good. All the covers were great. The concepts were a lot of fun that Manny and I did together. And the character is just stunning. She's awesome. She's like my Eric Northman. She's this badass that you want to hate. And she's just fucking cool, though. There's, I think we've got 8 covers we've got going right now, plus the blanks, so all kinds of fun stuff. I did do digitals. I normally do digitals. BGD was the first book that I didn't do digitals as a tier on. This book has digital tiers. Really excited about that. Also add-ons. We're using the new UI it's been out for a little bit now. Yeah, well, I mean, the only one you're not going to get boobs on is the listener. You know what I mean? So it's whatever on that count, but they came out really pretty. All the boobs that are on these books are really, really pretty boobs. So that's good. That's a good time. Who doesn't like boobs? I mean, Jesus. But anyway, that's another reason it's not a kid's book. You have kids reading boob books. Get out of here. I mean, I'm a fan of the fact it's a boob book. Hard work selling comics with story. I like writing. So it's fun. It's awesome. It's a pleasure to be able to give you guys great story. I always hated that shit as a kid. When I was a kid, I didn't buy comics for covers. I bought for good story. You know what I mean? I've thought about that, and I was letting that go for a little bit, and I'm going to hop on that train eventually. But a lot of people were doing it, Jake, and I really didn't want to do the same like shit that other people were doing. That's why we did the soap. That's why we did the soap for the listener, and that did really well, and it was a lot of fun. People enjoyed that. Handcrafted soap that smelled like what we thought the characters in the book would smell like. That was great. It was a good time. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get you. That's because you're a cover artist. So, but there's a lot to be said for the interiors, and substance in a book. The story should be good. It should get your attention. And you should keep your attention. It really should. That's awesome, Jake. I am thinking about it eventually. We'll probably do it in BGD, not in Greed or the Listener, but I think BGD would be a good place for it. I think that's a lot of fun. We had C. Michael Lanning do up Meredith and Nita for BGD, and that was a lot of fun. They looked great. It was cool. So we're going to add a caricaturizing sequence to the next issue of BGD in January. So you guys will be able to, see what you look like as a Saurian type character or anything like that. But dude, I mean, I had this concept with interiors, right? So when you look at Greed and you're like, how does this little, 3-foot tall dude stand up to these demons and stuff? Had fun with that. Oh, man, get out of here. So you and I need to talk about why you don't back that book. We need to talk about it because I think you think it's something different than it is. I was talking to Adam about that. It is not porn. I promise you. BGD is not porn. I'll say that live again. BGD is not porn. Neither is Greed, for that matter. Greed is definitely not porn. But there's really cool stuff to be seen in this book, and there's a lot of cool stuff for people to that are fans of theology or, any kind of, oh, is that what they just hold the cover together nicely? I got that. Okay, that makes perfect sense. I'm not yelling at you. So, see, on vouches. No, BGD is definitely not a kid's book. Don't mess with me. BGD is not a kid's book. It's definitely not porn though. But there's a lot to see, and if we continue to do books the way that we're doing, like Greed right now, if people continue to enjoy them and they get to continue to see them, we'll continue to be able to put out great content, and hire great artists and bring in the coolest type of stuff we can bring you guys. No, man. No, see, that's where you're wrong. That's absolutely where you're wrong. See, so let me hit you with this nugget of knowledge. Let me throw you the nugget of knowledge. So dinosaurs, right? When we were kids, dinosaurs were huge. I mean, everybody was doing dinosaur stuff when we were kids. From dino saucers to Jurassic Park to dino riders to dinosaurs for hire, Cadillacs and dinosaurs. The list is never ending, okay? From Ninja Turtle character dinosaurs and whatnot. That's right. You're already on board. Exactly my point. So that's the difference. With BGD, all those people in the 80s and 90s are buying comic books now. All those fans of dinosaurs and monsters and demons, they're all fans, man. They're all fans. And I love that. We have an amazing fan base. And like An just mentioned, is definitely not porn. And she's doing some incredible stuff with us, guys. So I will drop you a nugget of coolness that I was going to drop at the end of the month of my birthday, is that An is actually not only doing covers for us, but she's got an interior thing going on for us too, which is really, really cool. So if you like her artwork, make sure, you guys check out the interiors and whatnot that she'll be doing in the coming books. Not only her, but Mog Park doing amazing stuff with us as well, and contrary to Steph Wilson's shenanigans, he's also on the project with Mog Park. So whatever, and when it comes to building teams, I think we've got the coolest folks. I really do, especially with the folks that are on Greed right now, and we bring on new people all the time. Oh my gosh, JT Malloy's coming on. I'll send you the digital, Jake. I promise. I'll send you the digital for BGD. You can look at it, and then we can talk about it. Yeah, Shawnee. It's going to be bananas. Yeah. So there. That's what you get. But anyway, lots of cool shit happening. Lots of cool shit. Next year, guys, it's not dino porn. I promise. Get out of here with that nonsense. So it's coming on next year. Not only we'll have BGD running, we'll have Greed still running, the listeners running. There will be up to 4 more titles coming from us next year. So I'm really excited about it. And if you're new to being fans of ours, one really cool thing is I mentioned earlier, our books come out bi-monthly. So you literally, like, let's say you get Greed, right? Sean can get you. Excuse me. So if you pick up Greed, issue 2 right now, and you can add on issue 1 if you don't have the other one. So as you're going forward, this book, the end of the Kickstarter, I think it's like November 10th. There's some shenanigans like that. So ends in November, right? So let's say you get Greed in December. All right. Greed 2 you get in December. We've projected it on Kickstarter to January, but let's say you get it at the end of December. That's my goal. So anyway, so you're getting Greed 2 in December, and then all of a sudden you're getting, before Greed 2 even drops, if you backed BGD, you get BGD a month before that. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll get it a couple months before that, actually. Jesus, BGD should be at your house in November, so a month. And then as you go forward, you guys get a book from me every month. Oh my gosh, that's a good Christmas gift from me, right? Your kids are older. It's a good Christmas gift. December, too slow. Get out of here. That's not too slow. Look at some of these Kickstarters. I backed a Kickstarter a year ago and still haven't seen a book. That's 15. 15 is more than eligible to read my books, with the exception of BGD. I wouldn't put my 15-year-old on BGD. That's just because my wife would beat me up. Greed is not a bad book for young folks. It's just the shit talking that Cade does that I wouldn't want my daughter to read. You know what I mean? He just talks a lot of shit. He whoops a lot of ass, talks a lot of shit. You know, so, and then, you know, he eats things. He eats a lot of things. So he's a great character. He's a lot of fun. But he's also like, yeah, see, you're right, Shawnee. I tend to get sucked in, you know, just because I generally appreciate his input. So I get sucked into what he's saying. I really shouldn't. I know better than that. But so Greed 2, right? Let's show you guys some covers again for those of you that just coming in. There's David Ocampo's cover A, and that'll be whatever the you know, I think that's a great cover for like a shelf if you own a shop or anything like that. It's a beautiful cover. Pops right off the shelf. Then we got C. Michael Landing's cover. Great cover as well. I mean, he put a lot of work into it, and it's a really, really good cover. Here's one of our Wilder covers. This is April's Blacklight cover. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, that's her Other Side Blacklight cover. We had a lot of fun, she and I, putting this one together and talking about it, going back and forth. Here's the Living Realm version of that cover. You'll notice one thing that's really interesting she and I talked about live the other night is that this is an entirely different piece than this, okay? Even though it's a variant of this cover, it's still an entirely different cover. The model's different, posing's different, you know, great stuff. The horses are all done different. And then we get a David Fott's cover. Love David Fott. Great, great dude. Love the cover as well. Gotta go. Oh, take it easy, man. Thanks, Steph. Appreciate it. Get out of here. Oh, yeah, April's cover was super dope, Shawnee. Like super, super dope. And we get into David's stuff. You know, we got the 2 different versions of David's covers. Really, really great dude. The Cade is not in that cover. That's just my watermark for that particular image. I think it's fun, so I'm going to start, for watermarks, I'm going to start hiding him in my covers in different places. So I can be like, that's a watermark, dude. But anyway, so then we got back to Justin Hunt, and then going forward, we're at Steph Wilson. So Steph has an NSFW cover as well. Really, really, really beautiful cover. Hey, Mike. No, you're good, man. It was good to see you, brother. Yeah, I'm totally putting Cade Easter eggs all in for my watermarks from now on. David is an incredible human being. I'm just enthralled to be able to call him my friend because he's that kind of human being. You know, he's a great person. So for a lot of you guys that are coming in as well that are just seeing our books for the first time, all of our books are 24+ pages. They are all full color. Really excited about that. And generally speaking, we have 5 to 10 covers generally for most books. The last one we had 20 for BGD. Batshit crazy. It was cool though. It was very, very cool to have that many, but it was so wild trying to keep up with them. Trust me on that. But as well as the book 2, if you go to the Kickstarter, you can pick up book 1. You can grab that's cover A from book 1. You know, there's April's cover from book 1, Eric Viola's. I mean, you guys can definitely get some different covers for book 1 as well as add-ons. I know we've got a t-shirt add-on on there. I'll add the blank sketch covers tonight when I get off live with you guys because I have 2 more people I have to talk to before I go to bed about how many sketch covers they want to do and offer. So I'm stoked about that. You know, we'll go back in to show you guys a couple more panels from book 2. This is one of my favorite. I'm a huge fan of that character, you know, and I know people are like, well, we only write what we want to write, right? Truth, depending on, you know, if it's a work for another project for another person or something. But I'm a huge fan of this character. I love his build. I love his eyes. I think his eyes are one of my favorite parts of the character altogether. David Ocampo brings these colors to life, guys, and I absolutely love seeing his eyes in the panels that we create. Just because they pop, man. They pop right off the page, and I love it. I think it's great. Beautiful pieces. Yeah, absolute blank covers, man. Absolutely. So this project, man, has been so awesome. It's been so awesome. And I am doing something, once again, that most folks don't. I'm literally putting out a book every other month. It's not even like 6 weeks most of the time. It's like 4 and 5. So basically, as soon as the Kickstarter is done, we're prepping the other one. So there are a couple little nuances I need to add on that I was on my list to do things today, and I just didn't get to it. And I'll rectify that this evening. But so we've got Greed stickers we'll be adding as stretch goals and whatnot and stuff. I am thrilled though at the amount of people that followed this Kickstarter in a 3-day period. Because what sucked is we got a little hung up with Kickstarter itself, because normally they hook me up and they're like, hey, look, we approve it in 5 minutes. They did not this time. And what I gathered was it was because BGD is at the printer right now. But the fun thing is I'm always ahead. I'm always ahead of my output time period. So it's literally like they were like punishing me for being ahead of time. I don't really know how that works, but it took them like 3-4 days to approve me this time, and I was really, really rushed to put stuff together to build the actual site. But it was really cool because Nita and Meredith do an amazing job and stuff like that, and they handled all that cool stuff. So very thankful to have them on our team, because it takes so much to make a comic book run, right? It's not just the art, it's not just the writing, it's every aspect of it. Moving this piece, moving that piece. We have 28 team members right now, and it sounds crazy, but we have 28 different team members, and it's a beautiful thing to go from just me and Eric and Heather when we started this October of last year to like 28 folks right now. And I think that's incredible. Yeah, see, so what they're doing is the fact. So if you look at my record of Kickstarters, my books are literally in hand within a month of the end of the Kickstarter, because it takes 2 weeks for them to pay you. Then you got to send it to the printer, and our printers are great. So it's 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks at most before I get my stuff back from the printer, and then it's immediately out, right? So I'm always ahead of that projected receiving time period. So their thing is, if you're ahead of that time period, they question what you're doing. You know what I mean? Versus the cats that are mad late on that time period. They don't give a shit about that. They give a shit about you being early. So I'm learning. You know what I mean? I'm learning about how that works. And I'm okay with it. If you're going to punish me for something, hey, man, punish me for doing what I appreciate. Because when I back a Kickstarter, I don't like to have forgotten I backed the Kickstarter, if that makes any sense. I mean, if I paid $50 to $100, $200, whatever, I like to know that I'm going to get my $50, $200 worth of shit within, a decent time frame. So one thing I will say right now is I'm still waiting. Haven't been in a week, but last time I went to the post office, they wouldn't let us ship to Australia. But since then I'm shipping through pirate ship anyway, but they definitely wouldn't let us. That was really weird. I guess there's, the stuff going on in their country or whatnot, and they weren't allowing us to ship there. But I've been in contact with all the folks for BGD that were in Australia. There were only 3 of them, but I never want people to be like, hey, where's my shit? Because that's not how we work. You know what I mean? Especially with our books being done ahead of time. That's one reason I put stress on our teams and myself to get the product done even before the Kickstarter starts, so we can immediately get it out as soon as we have it. That's one reason you guys get the our PDFs. So if you back any of my projects and then you go, let's say the project, let's say it ends tomorrow. Okay, the Kickstarter ends tomorrow. If you check your mail 2 weeks from tomorrow, at most, you'll have the PDF, because as soon as the money comes through, I ship the PDFs out. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to keep the book from you any longer than I have to keep it from you. So as soon as it's like I can feasibly ship out anything, I like to get it out, because once again, when you put out a book every month or a month and a half, you're literally like, you depend on our amazing fans. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm paying out, because this is my full-time job, I'm paying out of pocket to put the books together, right? So grading options, I'll add those 2 Jake. I'll add him too. I'm real hesitant right now because of CBCS and CGC being so behind, man. It was a conversation I was trying to have with a few folks before I went in and added it, because it's like I don't want people to have to wait too long. You know what I mean? And that stresses me out, man, because you're talking, oh, hey, Trish. Oh, that's cool, man. We appreciate you hanging out for a minute. But it's like, when I say you're going to get a book, I don't like you to have to go, hey, man, it's been 4 months. Yeah, it's been 4 months because CGC is out the door with stuff. Even using, friends and using our, connections in CGC or CBCS, it still takes time. So I'll add that tonight as well, with a disclaimer. It could take time. It really can, which fucking sucks. Yeah, I mean, when we send them out, like right now, I know that Adam is sending a book for you. So it's like, or if they even get graded. I mean, look, we've had friends go, hey, look, our book's been there for this long and they didn't get graded, And it's like, I don't want to fight with that stuff. And it stresses me out a little bit. And it stresses me out for y'all. You know what I mean? It's like, I get real anxious. Like if I have a book that needs to go to a person, I get anxious. You know what I mean? Like I like to get, so when my process is, I like to get my project done, right? I like to get it done. Then we go to the Kickstarter. Man, whatever, that was okay. That's fair. But I like to think I made up for that. That was my fault. I forgot that one. Get out of here. But I hooked you up solid for that one. Don't mess with me. I felt really bad about that one too. And my wife has not let me live that down either. So she has not let me live that down at all. But as we move forward, so the process is we get the book done, right? We get all the stuff done, then we send it, then we start for sure, Jake. Absolutely. I mean, you're one of the good ones. Get out of here. So then we get it done, then we start the Kickstarter, right? So the Kickstarter, when it's finished, I appreciate that. I try my best. Well, I give a shit, right? I mean, I give a shit about our fans. I give a shit about the product. So when we get the stuff done, then we send it to print, then it's like, okay, it can be 2 weeks, right? But in that 2 week period, no bullshit, guys. This is my break time. I take that week, the first week, and I chill out after we've sent it to the printer, right? So whatever, man. So then after that, it's start working on the next piece. Right there at the next piece, and that's the time period. We have like a week that is slightly chill, and then it's right back into the next project. And I'm very grateful, guys. I'm very grateful for the fans like Jake, for the fans like Mike and Trish, for everybody. What's going on, Tom? Grateful for every fucking body, man, that backs the books, because like I mentioned, it's a full-time job for me. So it's like when we get the book done and we gain a new fan, oh man, oh shit, we went out to the fuck is that? I want to say Boiling Pots, because I lived in Hawaii and that's where I used to hike over there. Yeah, we have zero chill. There is no chill time. There's no chill. So where did we go? Nia, where did we go? Where did Heather and I take the kids the other day? It was oh my God. It was right. It was 2 hours from the house. I'll get back to you. I'll ask her. That's how my memory works. Oh, Steph's roasting me about all kinds of shit because he's Steph. You know what I mean? It's not. He just likes to roast me. You know what I mean? But then it's easy for me because I'm like, I really don't give a shit. Oh, I know you guys don't. I know you guys don't, for sure. I know you guys don't have any chill. You guys got your own projects going on. No chill. Yeah, he just gives me shit because he knows the inner workings of what I'm doing, and he likes to bust my chops. I got a lot of love for that guy. He just likes to bust my chops. It was 2 hours toward Chattanooga, Tom. just, hey, Nita, if you want to message Heather will tell you what fucking mountains we were at. But anyway, they were beautiful. It was a lot of fun. We really needed it. We needed those moments to just chill out. Yeah, you know, that's okay. He does good boobs, and I'm sure he does some decent food every now and then as well. He's not great at roasting me. He might be great at some other things. There you go, Tom. That's it. So tonight, guys, I will go in and I'll add the sketch ops. I'm sorry that slipped me, and I'll also add the grading options. Won't take me but a second to do that. He definitely is a meme lord, that's for sure. He's a good dude though. Glad to have him on the team. Glad to have him as a friend as well. But let me pop this video up one more time, guys, so you can catch this video out. Really thankful to Nita and Meredith for putting this incredible Kickstarter together and working with them and helping us and joining our team. So check this out one more time. That's such a badass video, right? They're super, super talented. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Grading is at author's discretion. Yeah, I mean, basically, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where you really want to do it and you really want to hook people up and whatnot, but it's just like, holy shit. It's like, I always get scared to do it anymore because of the time and whatnot, man. I really, really want to make sure that, you know, we offer the best products we can and the best timelines that we can. And I think that I'm hoping next year CBCS and CGC both hire some more folks, get some, you know, stuff moving around, and then they'll be able to be like, hey, you know, send more shit. Yeah, whatever. Get out of here, Jake. Jesus, that's one time. One time. Hell, I offered to reimburse you for that too. That sucked. That was on me. I had a lot going on that time. To be fair, and it's not really fair, but interesting enough thing with that, when that happened, Jake, we had just started like really getting into BGD, and it was wild. Yeah, that's right. Bad on it. Get on it. Somebody's got to keep me straight. At least that's what Tom says. Tom told my wife to keep me straight earlier. Somebody's got to. Somebody's got to get me straight. And that's one interesting thing about going into next year as well, guys. You're going to see a lot of changes from us next year. You're going to see some different logo stuff. You're going to see some, you know, some really cool infrastructure type of stuff going on. I'm really excited about. Tom was right. Absolutely. Tom was right. Speaking about Tom and Tom being right, don't forget, guys, I'll be in Baltimore, not at a table, but I'll be walking around Baltimore for the Comic-Con there here. What is it? The 21st to 22nd to the 24th. We'll be in Baltimore, walking around, signing books, schmoozing with folks. Not doing a table at Baltimore. More just wanted to go out and have a good time and see some fans, sign some books, bring some books to some folks. I got a shit ton of books to take to Jim. You know, I got some stuff. Hopefully BGD will be in, guys. I'm really, really hoping BGD will be here. Like a freaking hobo. Yeah, exactly. I'm like hoboing it around the show. So, where was I just at? I was just at Michigan. Minnesota's not bad. I mean, if they do a show and they want us to go, man, let me know next time you see a show out there. Oh yeah, there's going to be a ton of folks to smooze with. I mean, we got a lot going on for Baltimore. I'm really, really excited about it. Definitely be there Friday if you guys want to hang out with me, because I'll be there all day Friday. Shooting the shit. Hey, Steph will be there. I know Tom will be there. Oh my gosh, Wendy will be there. April will be there. What's going on, Chris? How are you? Lots of cool folks going to be in Baltimore. Like, lots of cool folks. I mean, Fall Creek Falls. Thank you, madam. Fall Creek fucking Falls is where we went the other day, and they were beautiful. Like, we only did the one. It was like a 3 mile hike down, 3 mile hike back up. It felt like, probably not. Probably only about a mile and a half down, a mile and a half up, but it felt like it was super, super far down. Well, you got a toddler, right? So we got my 3-year-old and my 11-year-old hiking. Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. His buddy's back there. We're going to talk about his buddy here in a little bit too. He's got a show tonight at 10 o'clock, man. If you guys are Chucky fans, don't forget the show comes on tonight at Sci-Fi at 10 o'clock. Super stoked about that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But taking the 3-year-old down into a waterfall was interesting. He had a good time. He didn't get tired. He didn't complain. It was just it's not like it's paved. You know what I'm saying? It's a hike, and you're climbing rocks and all kinds of other stuff. So, he had fun. He enjoyed it. I think that I miss that type of thing, moving from, man, Texas is far, bro. Texas is so far. I thought about doing a bunch of shows in Texas, but it's far. I know we're doing, we've got Vegas next year. I'm excited about that. I don't know the dates. I have to ask Jim the dates. I know we got Vegas next year. But it's fourth quarter this year. If you guys want to see us somewhere, let us know. We'll do everything we can to be there. Yeah, bro. But see, so I have an issue. Okay. Who's in here that's done a show with me? Who's in the room that's done a show with me? Nita's done a show with me. Nita's in here. I like to drive. Like, I like to have a car. I like to be able to go places and do things and fucking Uber, because that shit's so expensive. No offense to anybody that does it. I appreciate the hustle. It's just not for me. I don't have a good time paying people that much money to drive me around. So I like to drive to shows. And I don't mind driving to Texas. It's just fucking far. So I have to plan it out in advance how we're going to get there and how we're going to do all that stuff. Let's check on this Kickstarter. We've been live for an hour. Let's see what we've got. Let's see. Go in here and save this reward real quick. All right, I added the grading. We are doing CBCS there, Jake, if nothing else. Yeah, but so Vegas, I've never been. So it's like there's shenanigans with Vegas. There's shenanigans. That's a fact. Absolutely. So yeah. So I did add the add-on for CBCS grading, guys. $30 or $35. That includes the shipping and all that. I take care of that shit. I love the concept of Frightmare. I absolutely love the concept. But let me see where we're at. Where are we at on this Kickstarter right now? So we're at $532 guys, with 11 backers. That's awesome right now. Really, really excited. Yeah. Hold on. Apparently I missed an add-on. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, no, get out of here. What, Jake? So anyway, I like the concept of Texas Frightmare a lot. We did Walker Stalker a few years ago. That was a lot of fun. I'm not opposed to doing horror shows, man. My books fit right in with that kind of crowd, so I'm always open to do things like that. Um, let me. I had somebody ask about an add-on. Let me see, and they said that there was no C. Michael Lanning add-on. There should be. If not, I will add it for C. Michael Lanning. There is one on there as an add-on. I don't know why. Okay. Anyway, there is a C. Michael Lanning add-on on there. That's weird, but we'll see. You know, these things happen. Stuff disappears. I've learned that Kickstarter, if you're using it from different phones, different apps, all kinds of crazy shenanigans, you know, it just, some things don't even show up for folks. If you're using an Apple phone, you know, there's been times where the UI doesn't even work on certain things. So, you know, that sucks. I'm sorry if you guys have any issues like that. Please let me know, because I'll do what I can to fix it, because I'll put in a report about those things. So you've got Lilith in this issue. Big deal, right? She's the big bad. We're hoping that she comes out swinging. I'm really excited to see your opinion on her. She is as dark and gnarly as I could make her to fit the character and from what you guys have read from her in text and whatnot. So, but she's also a character in her own. Like, I didn't want to give you guys a Lilith that was just like a big bad and she's here, and then, you know, she's gone. Lilith's a character that'll be here to stay for quite some time. Greed 3 is coming out in March next year. So, or is tentative March, April, depending on if Kickstarter lets me put out books in expedient fashion as I would like them to. So yeah, so it's in March, and you'll get, we're introducing what we're calling the Serpent Tree arc, and I'm very, very excited about it. It is huge for us because of the fact we're bringing over characters. What in like, well, so outside of Greed and the Listener and BGD, I have another project related to BGD, and depending on how well Greed 2 does, you know, we'll see about if I can get this book fast enough out. It's funny enough, I have a project right now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 people on it. Okay, 11 people on it, and it is not all of them are cover artists. So I'm really excited about that. So we'll be, as soon as Greed is done, the Kickstarter will be dropping news on that and seeing how, you know, I can finagle it, because it's, you know, every now and then, since I've started doing this, I don't ever say every now and then, but 2 or 3 times since we started putting out books, I've put out massive projects. Like when I put out Gee's Journal, that was a huge deal for me, and it was it was a very large project, because it was like 48 pages. It was huge versus what we've done so far. No, man, it's not. I will get to you about BGD, and I will get to you about what this book is about. This project is all in this world with all different viewpoints, and it's great. It's good stuff. It's going to be a good time. When I say it's like BGD, I mean it's in that world. So you'll see. You're going to try to get me to spill spoilers and shit all over the place, and then Nita's going to whoop my ass is what's going to happen. And then she's going to tell Meredith, and then I'll get it again, and then they're going to tell Heather, and then it'll be real bad for me. So no spoilers. I've dropped a couple already, and I'm probably already going to get beat up. So, but when we start putting these things together, it's like we have to time them out because of the amount of projects that we do. And with Greed, yeah, man. Well, you know, Jake's been around though. Now, to be fair, I think Jake LaFleur is one of the only people to own one of every book I've done. Like with the exception of BGD, he owns every variant cover, everything I've possibly done. And I am definitely okay with it. If anybody has earned the rights to bust them, it's definitely Jake. But and the man has got some of the most badass blanks from us that I'm jealous of. But going forward, they're the way they drop is 6 weeks, 7 weeks at most, generally speaking, for a new book. So I'm really, really excited to tell you guys about this one. But I want to make sure that I can get it all done in a timely fashion before I tell you about it. I think you'll really enjoy it just as much as you guys have enjoyed Greed. You've enjoyed The Listener. Yeah, that happened one time. One time. And you know what? To be fair, you got badass art out of that. I don't even want to jealous of you. So anyway, oh, Jesus, train of thought. Thanks, Jake. So we've got Lilith, and we're introducing her to the dudes, right? You've got this character that is this badass chick, and you've got the tiny twosome, right? You've got our Oz, who is enthralled with all the craziness that he's seeing anymore, and you got Cade that's trying to eat every fucking thing in the world, right? So you've got these three characters that all come together in the penultimate experience in this book, and then we're moving into book three. Book three, like I mentioned earlier, introduces Cuchulainn, introduces the Serpentry stuff. And this is the first book coming up where Greed ties into The Listener directly and vice versa. Book three will have Lee from The Listener, and it will also have Arya from The Listener. Arya's first appearance is actually in Greed. Her first cover appearance was in The Listener. And that's fun because that was actually done with Greed with Lilith as well. Her first appearance was on The Listener Beginnings, and her first interior appearance is in Greed book 2. So pumped about that. And I'm pumped to be able to bring these characters to life in a way that catches people's attention and it makes people interested. As much as we talk all this shit about how it's a covers game, because it's a covers game right now, and I understand that. But that will never stop me from putting out the best story I can put out. It's never going to stop me. You know what I mean? I understand that there are folks out there that I appreciate that, Shawnee. I really do appreciate the fact that there are folks out there that sell cover art with barely any interiors. I get it, and I appreciate the hustle. But I can't do it. I can't do it. I enjoy my characters. I enjoy the creations. I enjoy their stories. As much as you guys like to read them and or look at just the covers or the art itself, I enjoy the characters and what they're doing and where they're growing. And, The Listener too, holy shit, it almost killed me to write it. For those of you that haven't read it, if you ever want to read a book that's going to, catch your heartstrings, book 2 of The Listener is definitely one. We get a lot of great reviews. We get a lot of great respect, and a lot of, man, Tom, you're absolutely right. And that's how I feel, right? So I get the hardest critic, right? I get the hardest critic to read my books first. I get my wife to read them. Love her to pieces. My best friend in the whole world. But she's also the most honest person with me ever, right? So when I finish a story, I literally am like, hey, check this out. Can you go over it for me and check it out? That goes before the editor team gets it or anything. None of the editorial guys get it or gals get it before her. I appreciate that, Trish. Thank you so very much. But all these stories go through her, and if she doesn't like it, I know it's shit, right? Man, I appreciate that, Jake, with all my heart, And I'm hoping that you guys will get to enjoy the story that we've melded with Greed. I love that, Shawnee. That's what's up. That's how it should be. You should be able to walk into a store and on a wall or an online shop, or you're, in the indie industry, be able to reach out and go, man, I really like that cover. What's the interior like? You know what I mean? You should be able to do that, and it should be good. It should be just as good as the exterior, if not better, in my opinion, because we have to hold ourselves to a standard. Like if the exterior art is beautiful, the interior stuff needs to be good too. If not, like I said, if not better, it needs to be. It has to be, in my opinion. But you should be able to see a story or a cover, enjoy it, like the cover, and then pick it up. I agree with that 100%, Jake. 100%. Having owned a comic shop, on an online store, now own my own publishing company and whatnot, I definitely I feel you on that. Like on a very deep level. I think that if you look at the art right now, use BGD as an example because it's the easiest one to use because it's just easier. If you look at BGD and then you look at like Star Wars right now, Star Wars, the new series running, Star Wars doesn't hold a candle to the art that we put in our books. You know what I mean? What's going on, Jacob? How are you, man? But yeah, so we've got, it's a lot to live up to, I think. And I think that it's a good problem to have. Man, I would love to do that. Oh man, that's badass, Shawnee. I'm really, really hoping that one day Adam and I have talked about that. For you guys that don't know what Jake's talking about with Prowl, my buddy Adam Fields, also a member of my team, has a book called Prowl, and it is awesome. It's an awesome book. But yeah, maybe one day, because like I said, we're introducing Cuchulainn in book 3, and Cuchulainn has ties to the werewolves, the lycanthropes, however you want to call them. In our book, they're called Fealod, and Fealod is the Celtic term for the werewolf. So I'm really stoked about that. Man, look, you're going to like BGD, I promise. Keep messing with me about BGD. You're going to enjoy it. It's really, really fucking good. And I'll toot my own horn about it. It was the first book, I'll say this. BGD was the first book that gave me enough confidence to come out and almost reach a cocky level with how much I love that book. It's phenomenal. And as we get forward into Greed and the listener is going to start showing so much more than what people have seen. And I'm thrilled with it. But you guys have to remember as well that when we put out books like stories and, whatever else, and what have you, full size, full color comic books, that's right. I am nothing if not honest, loyal, and understandable. You know what I mean? So yes, atypical. So anyway, so there's a concept when we start putting the listener out, and you do better. Like I said something about earlier today. You literally do better every project you do, in my opinion. Like if you look at the listener, every book has done better, consecutively. Not only what we've earned, and that's the difference between indie books and mainstream books, because mainstream books have a shelf life that's very different than an indie book. An indie book we constantly have, we're trying to sell, or we're trying to get people to read the stories. I mean, indie books last a lot longer per issue. Speaking of that, the listener's got a trade paperback coming out. We're still working on it right now. I had to push it back a little bit. I know I promised I would put out in October. I really wanted to. I really, really wanted to put out in October. Just and not even for any particular reason other than our team. I'm very proud of them, and our trade paperback for the listener will be out in 3 languages simultaneously. So I really wanted to. It needs to be just right. It needs to be just right when we put it out. So it'll be a few months, but it's coming, I promise. But that goes back to the shelf life. So when we're talking shelf life, a Spider-Man book, we'll use Spider-Man because it's easy. Spider-Man book comes out, right? Bam, Spider-Man book's out on the shelf. Okay, you're out there buying it, you're picking up, you're reading it, or you're not. It'll last about 3 to 4 weeks. Then nobody gives a shit about that issue anymore, unless it's a key issue or it's a speculative issue, whatever. Other than that, no one gives a shit because they've already read it, they pirated it, they've done whatever to get it, or their buddy told them about it, and they're just like, whatever, I don't want to spend the $4 or $5. I think they're $4.99 now. That's a fact, Jake. That's a fact. But to be fair, I don't see many. And like I said, I've owned a shop now. There are very few books that have caught my attention, even owning a shop in the past years, that caught my attention like indie books. I appreciate that, Jake. The listener's going to keep going, man. The listener will keep going. One of the biggest things right now for the listener is Greed issue 2 and Greed issue 3. With Greed issue 2 introducing Lilith, it ties the books together with the cover that Marissa Pope did out, which was beautiful, of Lilith. And now we've got her showing up in Greed. And then in issue 3 is the actual tie-in between the two books when we get Lee and Arya. Arya has not been in an interior yet. Mike DeBalfo and I created the character and put her on the cover of book 1. She'll actually be in Greed book 3. So I'm really, really excited to have that character out. She's a lot of fun. She talks a lot of shit. She'll be a great... Get out of here with that nonsense. So, but yeah, so we've got some really cool stuff going for Greed, guys. I'm very proud of the team. I'm very proud and I'm very thankful. They've all worked super, super hard in putting this book together for you guys. They've also worked super hard in just being good folks, man. You know what I mean? Just being really good fucking folks and supporting what we've got. Because a lot of folks, they're contractors. And one important thing to me is none of our teammates are contractors. It's bullshit. None of them are contractors. They're all on our team. If they want to stay, they'll stay. If they don't, they won't. But I'll never treat people like contractors, because of the fact that these stories that we're putting out put a roof over my kid's head, food on their clothes on their back, and food in their mouth. I got 2 kids. I love them more than anything in the world other than my wife. She's my best friend in the world. So, but there's a lot to be said about how awesome folks are. Speaking of Adam Fields, he's been on this journey with me since I started it. And I'm very, very thankful, for his friendship and the awesome covers that he's done so far. You can look forward to seeing Adam Fields on BGD and Greed starting next year. That's an announcement you guys haven't heard yet. Adam Fields will be on both BGD and Greed. So I'm really excited to have him on board with that. And for anybody else that's curious about any other artists that are going to be working with us, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm really, really happy to go over it with you guys. Really stoked to be able to tell you guys that the likes of Envu, Mog Park, Devin fucking Massey, all these amazing folks, man, amazing, amazing folks are coming on. JT Malloy, Brian Silverbacks, you fucking name it. We've got the coolest people that are working with us. Speaking of Brian Silverbacks is coming on for fucking Greed. Really stoked about that. You got JT Malloy coming on for BGD. I mean, dude, it's something. And we're very thankful to the fans as well, for the people that know how hard we're out here working. We're busting our asses to put out the best stuff we can. And, even without talking about it, like I said, we're getting to this point. BGD's got me to a point where I'm happy enough to be like, here we are. We're here. We're not going anywhere. The books are coming out. They're bad as fuck. Here we are. Man, here we are. And we're fucking meeting the coolest people. We're hanging out with fans that are just awesome. I've said this before, too. We've got the best fucking fans, because that's a fact. We've got fans that turn around and do just the coolest shit I've ever seen, from artwork to just wanting to chill to putting us in stores that we didn't know existed. I mean, we've got fans all over the world, guys. Right now, we're shipping to every fucking country under the sun, just about. Well, that'll let me put my books in it, because there are a lot of countries that don't want my books in it. Just to be fair. We're being real honest. We're doing a show. We're doing a book signing in Chattanooga in November with Jen. And Jen just did she did a black and white variant for Indiegogo of Greed for book 1 when we launched the Indiegogo stuff. That was a lot of fun. She smashed that cover. We're probably going to color that and do something else with it so that some more folks can see how badass that artwork was. And she has the original artwork, guys. So check that out, Jen Leonard, if you're looking for that piece of artwork from Indiegogo. I know she's got that. And speaking of artwork, if you guys go and message my buddy April Reyna, I know for a fact she's got the OG artwork for these guys. So you may want to reach out and see if you want to snag those. I know she's got them. Same thing with Justin Hunt. Pretty sure he's got this one laying around. Don't quote me on it because this shit sells real fast, but I'm fairly certain he's got that one. So anything that we can do to help like that, I'm so happy to do. There's dude, just it's fucking cool. Here we are, man. Here we are. Book 2. Oh man, I love the blacklight cover. Like, I love it so much. It's ridiculous. Shawnee, did you get her BGD cover? I don't remember. I think you got her BGD cover, didn't you? I don't remember precisely, but I think you got her BGD cover. She has outdone herself, guys, recently. If you've watched the growth of April Reyna right now, she is absolutely killing stuff. She's got a Kickstarter coming up in the next couple weeks too, so make sure you're paying attention for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to start running my Kickstarters at 3 weeks, guys, instead of a month, because I think it'll help us get books out faster, truthfully. I really do. I think it'll help us with like I said, I'm always beyond way ahead of on time, but I hope that if I can get them out in 3 weeks and we can do well enough that it'll start getting to the point where the books can come out monthly. We're also looking at a large scale distribution company for second quarter next year. Trying to get into Books A Million and Barnes and Noble right now. So I'm really stoked about that. I have hired a marketing manager as well as and we've got Nita and Meredith handling all our social media and stuff. So it's just building. We're just constantly building and trying, like I said, the more we build, the better we do, the better product we can get out to folks. And that's the goal, right? To constantly put out better product. I mentioned earlier that we're trying to get together a crazy project for the later on after Agreed To for this year. So my schedule, or our schedule for you guys, so you know, January is BGD issue 2, the listeners February, and then Greed is March. Those are how I'm tentatively trying to put the books out. Remind me of that, Shawnee, when we go to do your order for this Agreed To. Remind me of that, and I'll take care of you on that one. But there's so much to see with these books. The stories are so large. Like, no bullshit. I think there's. I appreciate that. You wait. You're going to be a big fan of BGD as well. I promise. So, but there's something to be said. You're very welcome. There's something to be said about the type of stuff we put out and when we put it out. So, like, right now, like I said, this book, the Kickstarter, ends early November. So if you look at that means I'll probably get it is not. It is not. So maybe a little bit, but it's not. So you go from November to like we'll say the third week in November is probably when I'll get my Kickstarter money. When that happens, I will put out an announcement to let you guys know if the book that I'm trying to drop in December will drop. And I know everybody's like, oh, it's Christmas. I understand. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday of the year. Don't judge me. It's my favorite. I love giving gifts. It's like my fucking love language. I love giving gifts to family and friends and whatnot. So, but anyway, so when that happens, I'll let you guys know if the project will happen in December. And like I said, I know people are like, man, they're worried. They're worried about Christmas and holidays, and I totally get it. But my goal is to put it out at the end before Christmas, like third week in December, And that way that it won't even come out, like it won't even hit wallets till almost February. You know what I'm saying? That's how I like to run things. I'm really trying to keep things in a way. I used to be that guy that, speaking of a way to do it, I used to be that guy that would go into a shop, or even my own. We'll use my own for an example. When I had my shop, I would pull 30 and 40 books for myself a month. You know what I mean? This issue's out, this issue's out. But before I did that, I would do the same thing at my LCS. I would go and I'd buy all my books. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. I get that indie comics are more expensive. But what I'm saying is we're putting out bigger books. We're putting out better artwork than a lot of, mainstream artwork right now. And most indies are. If you guys check them out, there are a lot of fucking awesome artists out there. So anyway, but what I mean is you won't get caught with the December book until January. So those are important things that I try to calculate when I put out product. I also know that there's not a lot of Kickstarters in December. I had no idea there's going to be a goddamn million in October. I'll say that much. I had no fucking clue. But like I said, we have amazing fans, so I wasn't fucking worried about it. It was like, okay, cool. There's 90 different books coming out, but there's only one Greed 2 coming out. You know what I mean? There's only one book by our team coming out. So it was really, really cool. Well, that's not true. We got April's book coming out. Jim's got a book out right now that looks great. The Monsters covers are super cool looking. There's a lot of really, really good stuff going on this month, but it's all different, right? And like I said, as long as I can keep my own niche and my own little, world style and storytelling, yeah, man, absolutely. October's bananas. So, but this, like I said, this is such an important month for us because it is our year anniversary for producing our very first book, that it's overwhelming. Like it's just the coolest fucking thing. And I couldn't be more thankful. I just could not be more thankful. For the fans, for the followers, for the, people that just share, you know what I mean? It's such a big deal. And I people don't even get it. Thank you so much, Shawnee. I appreciate it. People don't get how different it makes life for us. Just sending out oh my God, did you check out this badass artwork that one of Dustin's artists just put out? Or fucking, it's great. Do you see that cover for the listener or the cover for Greed? It makes such a difference for us as people. You know what I mean? Because now the algorithm is like, oh, well, we're not going to fuck that guy as bad as we did the other day. It's so wild. And this new shit with all the, Facebook stuff, we do Meredith and Nita do Twitter, huge for me. So I'm really excited that that's becoming a thing. It's huge for us over there because Facebook is getting to the point where it's hard to share. It's hard to show you guys things because we have all these folks that want to talk about books and stuff, and then they won't even see the posts for days. I know Nita was just talking to me about it. She's like, fucking 3 days ago I posted and she saw it today, just a little bit ago. And it's like, fuck, man. So I don't know who's seeing what, if they're getting the post, they're getting the updates. So, but I don't know, it is what it is. So, but we appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna hop off here. We've been an hour and 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I appreciate you pushing so hard. We're at $601 right now, guys. Holy shit, that's awesome. $601. And then we're only a few hours in, right? We're only not even a few hours. We've just hit an hour and a half live. You know what I mean? Thank you so very much. It's incredible. It's overwhelming. Thank you from the very bottom of my heart, and my families and our teams. Thank you guys for being here with us, hanging out with us for this, issue 2 of Greed, man. I didn't even know we'd get past 1. I didn't know how people would feel about it. So, yeah, what a wild fucking ride, man. Book 2. We got book 3 or book 4, The Listener, coming out in March or February. Sorry. BGD is already in. We're already working on BGD issue 2 right now. First 2 pages are already done, inked, ready to go. So I can't tell you how cool it is. But slowly but surely, you guys are going to start seeing cool ass, even like, not that you aren't now, but even more cool shit from us. especially in November. November is going to be big for us. We're talking all kinds of wild shit. So anyway, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate it. I'm going to try not to be like a mother hen all over Kickstarter, because that shit's nuts, right? Give you a heart attack fucking around with it. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Like I said, let me pop that link up one more time. Thank you, Shawnee. I appreciate it. You're an awesome, awesome human being. And it's been my pleasure, to make sure you guys get books and stuff. I'm glad you enjoy them. Let me find this button so I can put this link up here real fast. Copy that. And use my infinite wisdom on this shenanigans here. Pop that off there. There we go. There's the link to the Kickstarter, guys. Check it out if you haven't. I really appreciate it. Our team appreciates it. My family appreciates it. We're at $600 something right now. 13 backers in an hour. Let's go. Let's see what we can do with this incredible story, and we'll get you guys even better books as we're going forward. Thank you so, so much. Hey, man, Tom, I appreciate you hanging out. Jake, thank you so much, man. Speaking of hockey, Ozzy's going into hockey starting next year. He's actually he'll be 4 years old when he starts, but they want him to start skating next year. So I'm really, really excited about that. We'll be right here out of Nashville skating and whatnot. So really, really stoked. But thank you, Shawnee. I appreciate it. Trish, thanks for hanging out. You guys make it so much fun, right? Even though it's a job, it can still be a fun job. We appreciate your time, your understanding, and your backing. And before I forget, once again, don't forget that this guy here has a show coming on tonight at 10 o'clock, and I'm super, super excited about it. I mean, Brad and Jennifer are back. Let's go, right? Let's go. But yeah, so I appreciate that, Jake. I appreciate it very much. I think hockey is going to be bananas, actually. I'm terrified and excited all at the same time. But like I said, you guys have a great evening. It was a pleasure, and we'll see you on the Facebook, right? Or Twitter, right? Because we're learning how to do that. So anyway, be good, guys.